of your potpourri program, AM Cafe, the first in the new year 2025. We appreciate Almighty God for the opportunity given us to be part of those who are currently witnessing the new year 2025. It's a cool Monday morning from here in Osogbo, capital of Abia State, Osun. The sixth day in the month of a brand new month, January 2025. Once again, you are welcome on board AM Cafe. My name is Adeleke, your regular host on the program on Mondays. Health is what they say in a popular phrase, and everything must be done to ensure we continue to ensure that we live in healthy environment, in healthy atmosphere. We also have roles to play in ensuring that we continue to maintain an healthy living. But in some situations, we find out how some people engage in self-medications against the rule, and at the end of the day, they ended up inflicting, damages to their body system. What are the risks, inherent in engaging in self-medication? This will be tackled today on the program here at Cafe, and we look at the effort of the state government in Osun State in the health sector. We also project to the new year 2025 what are in place for the people of Osun State. My guest is already seated in the studio to answer questions regarding our topic, our focus on the program this morning. My guest is the Director of Public Health in the Osun State Ministry of Health. Yes, I'm talking of Dr. Akim Bello. You are welcome on board the program, Dr. Bello.
Good morning.
It's been quite some time, and we're happy to see you in the new year 2025.
Well, thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year as well. Yes, talking about self-medication. What is self-medication? Let's start from that.
Well, let me describe self-medication as a practice of treating our self-diagnosed disorder or symptoms by those prescribing drugs on patients, not only home remedies or patient initiatives without recourse to a medical personnel. So, sometimes both the self-medication was initially sometimes it is concluded in our national policy, health policy, and also the WHO encouraged it. Well, it had its own pros and cons. It's at the risk and has advantages. Like us in Nigeria, when we are talking about self-medication, there are some of our self-medications will come as a relief to our health facilities, so it will not be jam-packed. And again, when you look at our rural areas, where we don't have enough doctors, and where our health facilities are not accessible, so that's why some of people are used to this self-medication. But actually, maybe later I'll talk about the risks involved in self-medication.
You said the WHO, that is the World Organization, approval of self-medication, most especially where there are no medical personnel. But in a situation where there are medical personnel, most especially in the urban areas, will you encourage self-medication?
No, actually, in all, the self-medication was not discouraged. Actually, in our environment in Nigeria, because it tends to be abused by the people. Actually, self-medication actually meant for minor inmates. But some people, they don't know the difference between minor because maybe the level of their education. They don't know the level, what's involved about the difference between the minor inmates and the major inmates. And again, actually, that's what I would say for now about these segments. It should be where we have in cities, self-education should be discouraged.
If you are just joining us on the program is AM Cafe. My guest is Dr. Akim Bello, the Director of Public Health in the State Ministry of Health here in Osogbo. We have been tackling the topic, the risk in self-medication. Let's look at the risk involved in self-medication.
Well, in self-medication, there are a lot of risks involved in self-medication because there's a lot of misdiagnosis. Because patients don't really know what's really happened to their health. And they believe that you can just, if for example now, assuming you have a headache, you are not well investigated. Maybe your neighbor said that when they had a headache, that was this kind of drug you also used the last time. But in your own case, if you have this serious headache and you continue taking drugs, you continue increasing the dosage of drugs you are taking, you are not well investigated on what's really causing the headache. Of course. 2, that can lead to drug abuse. 2, there can be reactions because people take a lot of drugs together. There can be side effects. There can be reaction. 3, in fact, some patients, they can feel a lot of things in the body that can lead to death of the patients. So there's a lot of risks involved, and those are part. What I've just said are part of some of the risks involved in self-medication. One is diagnosis, the perceptivity of the drugs. You can react to the drugs, and eventually it may lead to the death of.
Dr. Bello, we have, derived 2 things from what you have just explained to us. We talk about self-medication and drug abuse. What are the differences between the two, self-medication and drug abuse?
No, actually, self-medication, I've told you, I've already explained to you that what's really meant by self-medications. That you are the one initiating the use of the drug yourself. It's not being prescribed to you by a medical doctor. But drug abuse, wrongful use of drugs. You use the drugs for what they are not meant to be used for. For example, now people, there is example. There are some of these drugs that you can use that people that work on the. I won't mention any name of drugs that when they use it, they tend to use to increase the activities when working on the farm. That's the abuse of drugs. It's not what it's meant for. Oh.
Talking to you about minor ailments in which people abuse drugs mostly. Well, what are those ailments?
Well, for example, now if people have general body pains, you have general body pains, you may be unable to sleep, and fever too, you can call fever too. But these are, I can call them minor, but they need to be investigated. We need to get to the root of the matter. That what's really causing the problem you're having. If you have general body pain, what's really causing the problem? Go for blood test, see your doctor. Is it ordinary malaria? It's more than malaria. If you have headache, is it headache? Headache can cause, there are a lot of things, can result from a lot of things.
Yes.
Small things, things that are very big. Like someone that's having tumor within the brain. If you have cancer within the brain, and you say you have a headache, they don't investigate, you don't do CT scan or MRI, you don't know. But you believe you have malaria, you continue using anti-malaria, but it will not go. So that's the reason that anytime when you have a headache, the most important for you to see your doctor, let your doctor examine you, let your doctor make diagnosis for you. So that reason we need to discourage self-medication. Because by the time the disease will be earlier picked, by the time you see your doctor. But if you don't see your doctor on time, there will be complications. And any remedy.
Talking about, approaching medical personnel for possible investigation, who and who? Because we have so many quack who claim to be medical personnel, dotting the corners here and there all over the country, who actually should we contact for investigation to determine possible, payment at the right time.
Let me tell you, when you are sick and you are going to any health facilities, the main purpose, as you say, is for you to go and see a doctor. A doctor will see you, will interview you, will examine you, and make a diagnosis. I will now write out the test for you that you go and do. After that, you go and meet medical laboratory scientists that will carry out the test for you. And the result of the test, you have to bring it back to the doctor for interpretations. So the first point of call in any hospital for you to see a doctor. When you see a doctor, a qualified medical doctor, after seeing a doctor, after making the diagnosis and want to go and do investigation, you meet people that are in charge of laboratories, and mostly in the environment that is actually the medical lab scientists. And after that, with the result, you go back to the doctor for interpretation of the result.
So do we have this personnel in the public health facilities in Osun State?
Of course, we do. If you go to any of our general hospitals, you see the medical lab scientists working for us in the hospitals. They are the one in charge of our labs. It's only when you get to teaching hospitals that you have some doctors. They are in charge of maybe the chemical pathologists, the hematologists, the microbiologists. They are the ones that are consultants. But in our facility, general hospital, and we have to give kudos to our doctor, we have lots of them in our facilities. If you go to Ashubia Road now, you see lots of them.
Yes, we are still on the program here in Cafe My guest is still Dr. Akim Bello, the Director of Public Health in the State Ministry of Health. He has been talking about the risk involved in engaging in self-medication, which will also lead to drug abuse. And has advised us to take advantage of the opportunity provided at public health facilities in Osun State to ensure we investigate. Yes, that investigation is done on every ailment before engaging in the use of drugs. And he said personnel are available in the public hospitals in Osun State. Let's make effort to take advantage of the opportunity provided by government for us. And let's look at the effort of the state government as well in the health sector. Last year, what was the story like?
Well, last year I must say we need to thank our government for what they have been in the states. Although we still wanted to do more for us. You can see that last year they wanted to renovate about 300 primary care facilities, but about 200 were able to be delivered. Primary care facilities in the state. And last year there are so many interventions that came in from the government. Towards the end of last year, we were able to screen people in the states for high blood pressure, for hypertension and diabetes. And this was really sponsored. This was sponsored by the Osun State government. Although we were lucky last year, we were on the top of the situations. There was no major outbreak, although I have a few outbreaks of cholera and diphtheria, but with the assistance of the government, we were able to come on top of the situation. Last year also, the government was able to enroll pensioners into the Osun State Health Insurance Scheme. And not only pensioners, at least we were able to enroll people, some people living with HIV. And also we are able to employ over 1,000 people that are having tuberculosis into the health insurance scheme in Osun State. Also, the state government also sponsors some of us to the national health council that took place in Borno State, and you can see we last year, toward the end of last year, we were able to the governor flag of the commencement of the Imale medical and surgical. And you can see a lot of people outreach. You can see a lot of people attended to. It took place. The flag off took place in State Hospital at Shibaro, and this year we are going to continue. We'll be going to Ilesha, Iwo, Ikero, Ife, and Ede. That will be, of course, this first quarter. So we can see that we were able to achieve a lot of things, not only in the primary sectors, secondary sectors, and also in tertiary.
Yes, I was going to mention the effort of government in the secondary and tertiary sector.
Yeah.
Is an opportunity for you to let us know what government has done in that aspect, in that sector as well, secondary and tertiary health sector.
Well, I've already mentioned. You can see that I've already mentioned a lot. That what government is doing. I mentioned everything together. What government is doing. Because of course now the Mali medical study belongs to all of us, not only the primary health sector. And again, you can see the focus. I think the government also is about employing more medical personnel for us.
So this one is in the pipeline.
It's in the pipeline.
Engaging more medical personnel.
Yes, not only medical and non-medical. It's only like medical and non-medical personnel. Yeah, into the service of the health system in Osun State.
Well, for the benefit of our followers who are speakers of our local language, let's take some of the questions in Yoruba before we leave the studio this morning. Mo kí àwọn èèyàn wa tó ń wálé ẹ̀ka àwẹ̀ kò jùmọ̀ ẹ̀dẹ̀ka àbọ̀ sórí ètò AM Cafe, ètò olójoojúmọ́ àti ń gbé àwọn èèyàn tó ṣe pàtàkì wá sórí ètò láti wá là wá lóye lórí àwọn nǹkan tó dàbí wà pé ó rújú fún wa díẹ̀. Láàárọ̀ yìí àwọn ewu tó wà nínú ká máa lo oògùn ní lòkulò láì ṣe pé àwọn elétò ìlera wọ́n sọ fún wa pé oògùn tó yẹ ká lò ní. Ewu lóríṣiríṣi ló wà nínú ẹ̀. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa la sì ń ṣe àṣìṣe ká máa lo oògùn láì jẹ́ pé àwọn elétò ìlera wọ́n sọ pé oògùn tó yẹ ká lò ló. Pàápàá jùlọ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa tó rí bá ń fọ́ tá a bá ti rí kórí ń fọ́ wa báyìí àti painkiller analgesic láwọn àgbé lura. Ewu ló wà nínú ẹ̀. Àwọn nǹkan wọ̀nyí ni àlejò wa tí wọ́n ti ń yànnàná fún wa lédè òyìnbó. Àlejò mi lórí ètò àwọn náà ni dókítà Akeem Bello, ọ̀gá àgbà ni wọ́n lẹ́ka iléeṣẹ́ tó ń mójútó ètò ìlera ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Mo kí n káàbọ̀ sórí ètò lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Àpò ọdún tuntun ẹ̀mí aṣọ̀pọ̀ ẹ̀. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ ewu tó wà nínú ká máa lo oògùn láì ṣe pé àwọn elétò ìlera wọ́n sọ fún wa pé oògùn tó yẹ ká lò ní self medication. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ níbẹ̀. Ewu ló wà ńbẹ̀.
Ká tó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ewu tó wà ńbẹ̀, of course máa sọ̀rọ̀ pé nípa self medication gbogbo. Kí ló jẹ́ self medication? Tó jẹ́ self medication bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé kí èèyàn wà kó pé oògùn olówó wà bò tó máa lò fún rẹ̀ fún àìsàn tó lérò pé ìṣòro láì ṣe pé ó lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ elétò ìlera
tó dájú tó kọ́ṣẹ́ mọṣẹ́
láti tọ́jú ẹ̀ nítorí pé ṣé wọ́n rí ọ̀rọ̀ self medication yìí. Although initially WHO àti national policy national Nigeria are encouraged them, but àwọn èèyàn wa àrègbè àwọn èèyàn wa àṣìlò pọ̀ jù nínú ẹ̀. Bó ṣe dá ní aburú wà bẹ́ẹ̀. Ètò tábàbùròkú dá ni pé one àwọn ibì kan wà ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa nílẹ̀ wa two, self medication tó bá yẹn dín àrùn kùtù pé káyọ̀ máa pọ̀ tó máa lọ sílé ìwòsàn ó máa dínkù. Àmọ́ àwọn ewu tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ pọ̀. Ewu tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé one, àwọn ìkíní kan ní misdiagnosis. Ẹni tó bá rí pé ọ̀tọ̀ nìkan tó máa ṣe èèyàn, ọ̀tọ̀ lóògùn tí ó máa lò. Two, oògùn tí a máa ń lò ẹlòmíì lè kóró oríṣi oògùn mẹ́jọ jẹ. Oògùn dẹ̀ ní ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ní bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́. Àwọn oògùn dẹ̀ ni wọ́n lè ba nǹkan jẹ́ ní ara. Then two, three, resistance pé kí ẹ mọ̀ ká máa lo oògùn bákan ní gbogbo ìgbà tó bá ara kọ̀ kò ní lè ṣiṣẹ́ mọ́ ẹni ẹ máa develop resistance. Then àwọn oògùn tó wà tó pé ó máa tó ba nǹkan jẹ́ nínú ara tó pé ẹni tó bá lọ́kọ̀ tó bá sọ́la ó lè pa ẹni yẹn.
Kí wá ní ìmọ̀ràn yín fáwọn tí ó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ti sọra wọn di dókítà àpàpàǹdodo tí nǹkan bá ń ṣe wọ́n, bórí bá ń fọ́ wọn, ẹlòmíì ti mọ ibi tí ó lọ. Ó lè má jórí ordinary orí ló ń fọ́, ó sì mọ̀ pé oògùn ẹ̀fọ́rí ni ẹ̀jẹ̀ á lò. Kí ni ìmọ̀ràn yín fún wọn?
Àṣẹ́rì ìmọ̀ràn mi fún àwọn èèyàn wa ni pé kò sí nǹkan tó bá ṣe yàn. Tó bá ti ṣe yàn báyìí, kí yàn gbéra kí yàn lọ ní dókítà. Dókítà ló wá máa yẹ èèyàn wò, ló máa béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹni yẹn, ló máa yẹ èèyàn wò, ló máa kọ àwọn àyẹ̀wò tí ẹni ẹ máa ṣe. Ó dẹ̀ máa tọ́jú èèyàn ẹni yẹn based on the result of the test tó bá ṣe. Torí ìgbàgbọ́ àti pẹ̀lú mi wà tó pé ó lè rò pé orí lásán nìkan ló fọ́. Ẹlòmíì ti di jẹjẹrẹ ní ọpọlọ ó ní máa fọ́. Ó lè jẹ́ pé ibà lásán ló fà tó dáadáa kẹ́ni yẹn. Ẹlòmíì àlọ́ pé orí tó ń fọ́ ó yẹ pé ìfúnpá ẹ̀ ló ga. So àdá kí àwọn èèyàn wa ká máa lọ sí ilé ìwòsàn láti máa lọ fún àyẹ̀wò.
Ẹ yí ká wá wo pa tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun kó lẹ́ka ètò ìlera. A mọ̀ pé wọ́n ṣe gudugudu méje yàyà mẹ́fà lọ́dún tó lọ. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ti ní àwọn ètò nínú àká ọdún 2025. Kí ni ipa tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun kó ní ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera lọ́dún tó lọ?
Ní ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lẹ́ka ètò ìlera wọ́n ṣe gudugudu méje yàyà mẹ́fà. Bí àṣírí wọ́n ìjọba wọ́n tún ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé fi gbà. Ọdún ó lé ní 100 tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe, bọ́ wọ́n ti ṣe ìgbà tó dájú. Tó yẹ pé iná àtòmí ó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ìgbàkúgbà. Two, nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìlera health insurance scheme, ẹ máa rí pé gbogbo àwọn iṣẹ́ tó fẹ́yìntì tẹ́lẹ̀ ìjọba wa wọ́n dẹ̀ lé níbi almost 25 or 26,000 people ni wọ́n forúkọlẹ̀ fún health scheme sínú ètò ìlera ọ̀fẹ́ insurance tó wà ní ìgboro. Àwọn ènìyàn kọ́ àwọn èèyàn wa tí wọ́n ní àrùn kòkòrò HIV náà ìjọba ẹ̀rọ wọn. Àwọn tẹ́tẹ́ ní kọfí ní TB tuberculosis yes kọfí wọ́n ẹ̀rọ wọn lọ sí wọ́n ẹ̀rọ wọn náà sí inú scheme yìí. In fact gbà táwọn èèyàn tẹ̀ gbọ́ tí a sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ti àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tó fẹ̀yìntì tá a sọ report ẹ ní inú pàdé kan tá a lọ ní Maiduguri the National Council on Health. In fact wọ́n pàtó fún wa gan wọ́n dẹ̀ wọ́n rò pé tí ìjọba gan àpapọ̀ ṣe tí wọ́n rí ṣe là ṣe ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ni wọ́n dùn pẹ̀lú gómìnà wa pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa. Ìmọ́lẹ̀ medical and surgical treatment àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ká tó parí ọdún last year and added to continue àti Olóṣogbo a gbé lọ sí Ìwó a gbé lọ sí Iléṣà a gbé lọ sí Ifẹ̀ a máa dé Ìkirun and máa dédé ká tó parí and ẹ̀dẹ̀ gbogbo ìgbìyànjú láti tó báyọ̀ sí iṣẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run ìyẹn máa ṣiṣẹ́ ní ọdún yìí so that àwọn elétò ìràwọ̀ àti máa pọ̀ sí.
Well, on a final note, Dr. Akim Bello, what will be your advice for residents in the Osun State on the need for them to take their personal health seriously and to avail themselves of the opportunity provided by the state government at various health facilities in the state?
Yeah, well, I would like to appreciate our people for the support they have given the government of Osun State. And I would like to appreciate our government for what they have been doing for us and also those cabinet people too. The health facility also say they're open to our people and they will let our people to take advantage to visit them. I don't want us to rely on self-education. When you look at it from what I've said this morning, self-education is not the best. Because you are not totally evaluated before you commence the drugs, which will be harmful to your body. So please, our people, you are once again called upon, and we want to encourage you to go to our facility to seize the opportunity. For example, now when we screen our people for diabetes and hypertension, many people don't know they have diabetes, they don't know they have hypertension. But best when they screen them with what they are now on drugs, and they are going to have liver failure for the rest of their life. So please, I want our people to make use to seize the opportunity to visit the nearest health post. I want to discourage them from self-medication at this area.
Well, on this note, we want to say bye on this morning edition of AM Cafe. I want to appreciate my guest on the program, the Director of Public Health in the State Ministry of Health, Dr. Akim Bello, for finding time to be on the program once again. We appreciate your presence on the program, Dr. Akim Bello. I won't forget the hands in the studio this morning, the audio, video officers and the master control. Those are the master control room. I appreciate your effort, not forgetting the producer of the program, Shola Ogunleye. My name is Adeyemi Aboderi. The program will return tomorrow morning. I appreciate your presence while saying good morning to you, dear.